Hey guys, what's up and welcome to another video. So today I wanted to talk about how I balance university and doing the jobs that I do and just adulting, if that makes sense. I'm not even an adult yet, I'm 19, but basically trying to get my life together, trying to do things by myself because I'm still quite young and I moved out quite young as well. So yeah, let's just get straight into it. First, I want to talk about time management because I think it is so important to manage your time correctly in order to be able to balance everything, if that makes sense. So I would personally recommend using two kinds of planning systems together. So the first planning system should involve planning out your days in time slots, basically. So giving a time for everything you're doing that day. So I personally like to use Google Calendar for this. It's amazing. So in the beginning, I just have my weekly events. So things like lectures in yellow, I have my shifts in purple, or in green for donut time, and then I'll start adding things that change week to week. So I'll add lunch with a friend, and I'll color code that, and then I'll add what time I'm planning on waking up, and I actually allocate an hour to get ready because I am slow in the mornings. And then I start adding wherever I can slots for uni work, slots for training as well. So I put my uni work in dark green, my training in pink, etc., etc. And I just do that at the start of each week, so I make sure I have it all mapped out. And Google Maps will give me notifications 30 minutes before something happens. So yeah, it just helps me stay on top of things because it's hard to just remember everything that's going on, and it helps me keep a good schedule. And whenever someone asks me to make plans, I can very easily just open my Google Calendar on my phone and check when I'm available. Alright, so this is what a finished week looks like for me. So I just have all my training, study slots, work, and everything all in one place, nice and color coded, and I can check it whenever I need to. So that's the first planning system, a day-to-day time slot allocation kind of thing. I would combine that with a task manager. So there's so many different ways you can manage your tasks and prioritize them and make to-do lists. So you can either have virtual online to-do list on your computer or on your phone. There's really good apps. I think there's this thing called Habitica. I'm not sure, I've heard of it. That's really good for task management. I personally use a bullet journal. I have been bullet journaling since I was 14 years old, and it has worked wonders for me. I'm an organization and tracking freak. I love to track everything. I don't know, I'm just obsessed with tracking. Okay, so this is what my bullet journal looks like. So at the start of each month, I make a calendar with all my main events. I have a growth tracker for Instagram as well, and I write down all my goals for that month. And then I have a habit tracker here. I have some expenses here that I am not going to share. And then I have an attendance tracker, so I just make sure I go to at least 70% of my lectures and everything at uni. I have a reading list. I have so much shit to read, and I just write it all down to make sure I don't forget anything. And then this is my day-to-day to-do list kind of thing. So I'll put in things that are due and then all the tasks that I want to do on that day. And it's really simple, but I just do this so I can see everything, otherwise I'll forget if I don't write it down. And then I have a client tracker as well, so all my clients, how many sessions they've done with me and everything. And yeah, so this just helps me stay as organized as possible. So I use this in conjunction with my Google Calendar, and yeah. Alright, so this is how I keep all my uni stuff organized on my computer. So I make folders for everything to avoid a mess, basically. So this is all the modules I'm taking this term. I'm only taking 4 modules. I've got these 4 right here, so 2 of my political science modules and then my 2 language ones. And then inside each one I'll have my notes and my reading. So yeah, every week, this is a bit messy. Every week so for every week I put all my readings in each of these folders. So yeah, that way I download everything in advance as well. That way I can just get a head start and read everything as soon as I can. And then under the notes folder, I'll have like all my essays, I'll have like reading notes. So for each reading, I'll like take notes on that specific reading. The reason being, for me, like personally, I retain information better by summarizing it and writing it down either by hand or on my computer. And then I have my lecture notes. This is like, yeah, just during my lectures, I'll like type up my notes on my laptop. So that's like the way I do things for my political science modules. They're like both the exact same format. Then for my languages, it's like very just like random. I have like these 2 PDFs that I like. I don't want to buy the books. I just found the PDFs online. And then for Spanish, we do grammar and translation. And then like Swedish, I just have I have nothing. That's really nice. But yeah, so this just helps me stay like organized and stuff for uni. So that is my second planning system. So it's like a task manager, and I use those two hand in hand, and they work really well for me. So that was part 1, time management, super important. Part 2, I think that is really important, like when you go out like to university and you're living alone, like without your parents and stuff, even if your parents do still give you money, tracking your expenses is super important, and like budgeting, because once you know how to budget at this age, before you're like completely financially independent, it's just gonna help like bridge that gap, like that transition phase when you're like kind of relying on your parents but not really, and you feel guilty for like taking money from them, things like that. So I make sure that everything I spend, I will write down, like not physically, but on my computer I have like a Word document. Every month I'll write down everything, like literally every single like penny I spent, I will write it down. And then every week I make like a summary, like in a table. So I summarize and I categorize things. So like groceries, coffees, because I love my Starbucks, flipping like transport, or like if I get my nails done, like I put in everything. And then at the end of the month, I have like a big breakdown of everything I've spent, so I can see if I'm spending too much, or if I, on the other hand, could maybe like spend a bit more, or if not, like put the extra money into savings, things like that. So it just helps keep me accountable and like track things and just see what I'm spending, and I become a lot more like aware of the value of money, what I want to spend my money on, what I don't want to spend it on. And I also track my income. So I have 3 different incomes right now. I have an income from the gym, one from Donut Time, and one from Misfits. And in terms of expenses in general, like if you're someone that like impulsively buys things, I want you to try and sit down and think, why are you buying these things? Like, because I went through a phase where I was obsessed with shopping, and it was more to just like fill a void that I felt. I was just buying things like uncontrollably, and then I was like, okay, I need to stop. And what I do now is every time, like before buying anything, like whether it be like gym clothes that I actually do use, or like a pair of jeans that I might not wear, or a top that I may or may not wear, I don't know, I'll like it, I'll try it on, be like, oh, I really like this top. I'll be like, okay, this top isn't gonna go anywhere, you know, like I'll not buy it now, I'll go home. If like in the next couple days I'm still thinking about the top, like, oh, I should have got it, then I'll go back and get it. Most of the time, however, I go home and I don't even like think about it anymore, which just shows that like it wasn't urgent and I didn't really need it at the time. And I'm really trying to move towards a more like minimalist lifestyle where I don't own as many things, because it just simplifies your life so much. There's less clutter in your room, there's like less things that you need to worry about. So yeah, that's what I think about like spending money, expenses, things like that. I think this is a very good time, like, you know, when you're like late teens, early 20s, to really start being more aware of what you spend, because, you know, it just helps bridge that gap. That way when you graduate and you're like on your own out there, you're like, oh shit, what do I do like with money? So yeah, that is the expenses bit. And then the last bit is more like just about enjoying yourself, like trying to really find a balance. And I think balance can mean so many different things, and it's so context dependent. It depends on you, it depends on how you value different things, because some people will value their social life a lot more than other things. I personally don't. I mean, that sounds pretty sad maybe to you, but to me it's like I have so many other things that I want to focus on more, that I enjoy doing more. I prioritize my training in the gym because it makes me feel good. It's what I want to do with my life, and I genuinely wouldn't have it any other way. I know that I moan a lot, like, oh my god, I'm not sleeping, or like, oh my god, I'm so busy, but like, you know, I truly, like, deeply enjoy it. I feel very accomplished, very fulfilled with what I'm doing right now in my life, and I really do think that sometimes it's hard letting go of people that might not understand your way of life, like your lifestyle. Doesn't necessarily mean that these people are bad people. They're still probably amazing people in their own way, but you've changed, they've changed, like, you know, and maybe you guys aren't like as compatible as you were before. And it's hard, like, you know, when you've known people for so long and then you slowly start distancing yourself from them, not on purpose, but just because you're living your own life for yourself and do things for yourself, and that might not be in line with the things that they're doing, and that's completely fine. Like, I felt so guilty for quite a while for being like, wow, I'm like such a shit friend and I'm not, you know, reaching out to these people anymore. But I'm like, if it's a chore for me to reach out to these people, then I shouldn't have to do it, because that's not what friendship is about. And I think that when you go to university, it's so easy to forget that and to like be stuck to these old like habits and relationships and friendships and things. So I would just say, like, this life is for you, you know, don't forget that. Even in times of like self-doubt or just feeling lost, just remember that this life is for you, and put yourself first. As selfish as that might seem, like, you need to put yourself first and do things for yourself and find your own balance. You know, take things one day at a time. And yeah, that was really cringe. I'm so sorry. But yeah, so that was basically all I had to say about just balancing things. A lot of people ask me, like, how'd you balance things? I'm like, well, you know, my idea of balance isn't the same as yours, but I'll explain it anyway. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed that. I feel like I rambled quite a bit. I'm really sorry. But, you know, if it helps some people out there, then it helps some people out there. And yeah, I hope you all have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!